everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone World, and in this video I'm going to be using my Silhouette Cameo and FDC sign vinyl to make this Hello Fall shadow box using vinyl and scrapbook paper. I have my design in Silhouette Studio that I'll be working with. It's a basic design using two TrueType fonts with a slight offset in between them. Pretty simple to make. So what I need to do is I need to set it up for my shadow box. This is the shadow box that I'm using. This is a 5x7 frame. So I need my design to be a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and select that and go to my scale tool up here. I like using the scale tool because there's no guessing in the dimensions that you're doing. You don't have to stretch out the box. You can type in exactly what you want it to be and it'll set it for you. So I want this to be about 6 inches wide. Apply, and now we have it here. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to cut this out of one color vinyl. So I'm going to go over here and make compound path. So you can see now the fill's been taken away, and then I'll just drop another fill in there. So that's what it will be. I'll do it in one color. And I am going to do this on the inside of the glass. So I am going to flip horizontally. Just like cutting HTV, I'm going to mirror it. And out of convenience, I'm going to draw a box around it for weeding. This is totally optional. However, I find it makes it very simple to weed for me. Alright, so I'm going to cut on a cutting mat. So I have my cutting mat here, and I'm just going to place my vinyl on it. And in Silhouette Studio, if you're cutting with a 3, it's very important to put in your software that you're using a cutting mat. So if you don't know how to do that, you'll go to your design page settings here and make sure you have cutting mat checked right there. The Cameo 1 and 2 will let you load media or load mat, meaning it didn't necessarily matter what you had it set at, it would still cut it. But in Cameo 3, you do need to set it, otherwise you'll get lots of cuts up here, like I did. So let's go ahead and get it ready to cut. We're going to go to our cut settings window, and we have this highlighted, and we'll do cut. Now, I've been cutting with my second carrier because I like using the premium blade, so I just went over and checked it on tool 2. You'll see I have a blue line around it. You can go ahead and select your setting. I have FDC already programmed in here. So I have it on my blade 3, speed 10, thickness at 5. And so I'm going to load to my Cameo, cut, and then I'll be ready to go. My decal is cut. Now I just need to weed it out. And this is mirrored, so it's going to look backwards. That is normal. So let's go ahead and grab all this. And if you have good cut settings, it shouldn't be too hard. And I missed a little polka dot, so I'm going to go back and find the dot of the eye. So it's right here. I'm just going to set it to the side for now. And I know all of us have dug through the trash to find these little polka dots before. So I'll go ahead, grab this, and then place it down. Good as new. Now let's weed out these middle parts. Alright, so I have my decal done. So you can do two things. You can either put your transfer tape on first so you can pick up the decal without damaging your whole sheet. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this down. So we'll grab this. And then let's get these sides off. And now we just need to put our transfer tape on. To find the right length for your transfer tape, you can go and bring it over the non-sticky side on top. That way you'll know how much you need. And I'm going to horseshoe mine down. So drop, bring it over, and then I'm just going to use my scraper to really burnish it. So now we're ready to apply this onto our shadow box, but first we need to cut out the background for it. So I'm going to set this aside and get ready to cut. Here's my scrapbook paper that I'm going to be using for the background. If you look closely, the edges are darker. This is called a vignette. I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and trim those edges off before I get started. I'm just going to go ahead, find a good edge. This is good. Trim that off, and then I'll trim it off of this side as well. So we'll go check that, do this. All right, so what I'm working with is a 5x7 frame, and it's going to be 7 inches wide, 5 inches tall. So I'm going to trim this down. So we're going to go over, line it up with the 7 here, trim, and now we're just going to go ahead and bring this over to the 5. Now here is my background for my shadow box. I can go ahead and get that ready, and I'm going to place it in there. Here's the frame that I'm working with. So I need to take off the back. And this is what I am applying my background to. There's a few different ways that you could do it. You could tape it, glue it. These shadow boxes come with these little straight pins. I'm just going to go ahead and straight pin this down. If I'm not happy with it later, I can go ahead and glue it if I want to. But this is the least messy option. So just make sure you're really smoothing it. Now let's bring it over here. Then one more. Great, so we have our background set. Now you just want to make sure you clean this glass. I wiped it down earlier, but I'll do one more. So I'm just using a glass cleaner, and it's important that you get this really clean because you don't want bubbles, especially because your decal is going to go on the inside of this. You'll really see if you have lint or anything on there. So we're just going to clean it. And I am actually going to take this out of the side so I have a little bit more space. All right, this is the top of my frame, so I need to turn it, and I need to get ready to place this. Now it's helpful that the transfer tape is clear because you can see where to place it. So I'm going to use a horseshoe like this to drop it in where I want it to go and then smooth the rest. So we have fall and left. It looks a little bit crooked, so I'm going to lift it up real quick. There we go. All right, so we have this here. Now just like any other decal, let's smooth it out. Let's wipe it one more time to make sure we don't have fingerprints. Right, here's our backing. Right, so we have our fall in love. So you can see it adds a nice three-dimensional look to it with the text up front and the background behind. Something fun that you can do with some scrap FDC vinyl that you have and any scrapbook paper you may want. So if you have any other questions, you can email us at info@therhinestoneworld.com.